HubSpot's Call Intelligence got a big update this morning. I want to go a little bit deeper into some examples of how you can use this new track term trigger for HubSpot workflows. This has to do with the Call Intelligence tool. You do need to have the enterprise level. So about a month ago, HubSpot rolled out a limited version of Call Intelligence and playbooks for Sales Hub Pro. You would need the enterprise version, but it's totally worth it because enterprise lets you do custom objects and all sorts of other fun stuff. But anyhow, let's go ahead and take a look at how we can use track terms to make some really cool automations. All right. So first thing, you're going to make a workflow, and we're going to go ahead and go to the activity properties. So I'm in a contact-based workflow, and we're doing setup trigger, filter type. I'm going to go activity, and then we can go to tracked terms. Now, if you want to see all controls that you have based on a call, because maybe you want to limit this by call title, which is something I suggested in my post, you can do that, right? So you scroll down to calls. We have call title, status, source, outcome, notes, duration, direction, etc. So there's lots that we can do here. So let's start out with track terms. We get the options of is any of, is none of, contains all of, doesn't contain all of, is known, is unknown, is equal to all of, is not equal to all of. Okay. So now what we can do is we can see some of our track terms that we have here. So we talk about HubSpot because we're a HubSpot partner. So let's say somebody mentions the Marketing Hub. All right. So I'm just going to apply that filter. And then we would probably want another filter, right? Like we want to know what was the name of this call? Because then a client mentioning Marketing Hub on a sales call might mean that we segment them into another list so that we can deliver them content about the Marketing Hub, or that we create a task for sales to send them some more information about the Marketing Hub. Now, if this is in a QBR, we might do something a little bit more interesting, right? So we might say, let's say the call title, let's say it contains QBR or it contains quarterly business review, right? All right, because let's say we're tracking both of these. So we have QBR and we have quarterly business review. And then what we could also do is say that they're line item properties, that the name of the does not contain any of Marketing Hub. Oops, that's a Marketing Hub, also fun. Marketing Hub, right? So then what we could do is say, all right, well, we had a call for a quarterly business review where Marketing Hub came up and they don't have Marketing Hub as a product. So maybe we can put them on a list. Maybe we can create an opportunity and have somebody begin to have this conversation. Of course, you'd have to structure your calls properly for that. If our rep is the one who brought up Marketing Hub, that might not be significant, right? So we need to make sure we control for all of these different variables. So what else can we do? Well, when we look at our actions, if we have a certain term come up in a quarterly business review that would suggest that somebody's going to churn or that they're likely to expand, again, we could automatically create a deal. We can notify a manager. We can create a task. We can do all sorts of things. If this is for marketing purposes, again, if we hear things come up in a sales call or a quarterly business review, we can go ahead and we can make the shift so that somebody is getting segmented differently. So they're getting different content. They're getting invited to different webinars. Maybe they're seeing different smart content on landing pages. So when we look at these triggers, there's a lot that we can do. And of course, we have all of our actions, right? Just think about that. So based on what somebody says, we can enroll them in another workflow. We can send internal notifications and communications so that we're aware of things. A great onboarding example is, let's say we had this trigger was set up. Let's go back to this activity. And let's say that, you're a professional services company or you work with software, you're an MSP, right? And let's say your call title is something that, contains, we call our calls kickoff calls. Everyone has a different name for theirs. So let's say it's a kickoff call. So we say it was a kickoff call, and we say that we hear a track term about a certain software, right? Let's say that we hear contains Google Workspace, right? Now, we don't have a ton of track terms set up here, but let's say that it was Google Workspace. We could go ahead and do that. So if it contained Google Workspace, we would know that we need to get access for that. So then what we could do is create a task for our onboarding team to get that access, or if we have like a checklist of what software does somebody have so that onboarding can look at that checklist, then what we could do is go ahead and just update a property based on that being true. So there's a lot that we can do here with track terms. This is a really exciting update. I would love to hear any examples or ideas that you have, and have fun with this super advanced AI opportunity that HubSpot is bringing out. They are continuing to progress their roadmap all the time, and let me know if you have any questions on using it.